Yes. So what I was saying is that this classification of letters will help you all to understand how we write the conjuncts, the half letters in Shaada Lipi. And like you must have already seen that how we write the conjunct Ksha. So this is also a conjunct, combination of two letters together. This you have already seen in the consonants. So first we write K, since it's a combination of K and Ksha. And this also you must have understood that why K is written like this. Like K always take this shape when it is written above any consonant. So this is how we write Ksha. So basically in what happens in Shaada Lipi, for example, we have half letters in Devanagari. If we have to write a word like Pant, right? We have these half letters. These half letters, basically this means that the N is being pronounced without the sound of the vowel with it. The complete N basically is the combination of the sound N and A. So when any consonant is pronounced, it is pronounced with the help of the vowel. Without the vowel, if we remove this A from N, it will become N. That N is what we represent as the half letter. And every consonant, for example, we have K, a K. The K without the sound of this A, without the sound of this vowel, would be pronounced as K, which we denote like this in Devanagari Lipi. Right now, I'm talking about how we represent the half letters in Devanagari Lipi, right? So this is what half letters are. So here, if we are talking about Pant, the word Pant, Per, so this N is half here because it is being pronounced without the sound of the vowel with it. So it is half N and T. But in case of Shaada Lipi, we will not write the half letters. We don't write half letters in Shaada Lipi. So what we do is we write Per. Then we have N. So what I'll do is I'll write complete N here. And the letter following the half letter would be written below the half letter. So there is no rule of writing half letters in Sharda. What we do is we write the half letter complete, like how I have written N here. And then I write the following letter, the letter following the half letter. Here we have the following letter N. So it will come below here under N. So there is no half letter written in Sharda Lipi when it comes to the conjuncts and half letters. Now here, this is one word. Now let us take one more example. For example, this is the word Kashmir. So when I write this word in Sharda, Ka would be written as it is, full, complete. Now this half sh would also be written complete. Now what we have here is m following the half letter, m after sh. So m would come under sh. And then this e will come here. The last one we have is r. Right. So again, you saw that this half letter was written complete and the letter following it comes below it. Here also we saw the letter, half letter was written full and the was written below. Now here the question arises, if you all have observed it, here I wrote the directly below this vertical line. If you see, it is not moving to the left or the right. And I'm not using the Shirorekha of the here. But if you see here, I have written this m on the right hand side, right? And m anyways doesn't have a Shirorekha, so we have omitted the Shirorekha. And but m is written on the right. I could have written m like this as well, right? If I could write the directly under n, I could have written m also like this. But now this is where the classification of letters comes into place. So we classify the letters on basis of their touch points with the Shirorekha. What I mean is, I will just explain it here.
Yeah, sorry, madam, to disturb, but Rakesh ji's sir has taken these categories in the 2 class before.
So you are already aware of the classification?
Yes, madam. Actually, if I'm not wrong, A, B, C, D category, is it
Yes.
what we are talking now?
Correct. Okay.
Yeah, because letter with a single touch point, 2 touch point, no touch point, and special characteristics.
Yes, correct.
This
So
this is this is
we've gone through it. Then
yeah. This is the thing which we learned on the class and date conjuncts class on 6th February. We studied the same class number 9.
No problem. Then I think
No,
okay.
but it will be really helpful. Yeah.
Yeah, you can continue, please.
So what I'll do is, if you're all aware of this classification of the letters, I will move to some examples. I'm sure you must have done the words and practice based on that. Then let me take some other rule today. I will take the rule of Matra R. If you have any doubts regarding the classification of the letters, then I think we can take some examples. Otherwise, I'm going to move to another rule, that is
Veronica ji, we have done until u matra, u and u. R matra we have not taken, but
this has already been done.
Yes, u and u also is done.
Okay, and is this matra also done? This one?
No. R, nothing is done. No.
Okay, so let us do this matra. Okay, so what we are understanding now is the use of R, matra R, with any letter. This R, when it is written as a matra with any letter, for example, with ma, in Devanagari, we write it like this. Right? In Sharda, this matra R would come on the top here. And then the ma, since this belongs to category C, would be written on the right hand side. For example, I have a word dharm. How I'll write it? The, then ra, and in Sharda, if you see, we pronounce the word as dharm. So after the sound of ra comes, and then the sound of ma comes. The word ends with the sound of ma, dharma. And here in Devanagari, what we have done is we have written the, ma, and ra on the top. What happens in Shaada Lipi is how we pronounce the word. We write it, the sound that comes from the word, we write it, exactly like that. Because the sound of ra comes first, so ra would be written here first, and then it is followed by ma. So dharma, this is dharma. Now let's take one more example. This is charcha. Cha. Now again, if you see in Devanagari, ra is written on the top of matra a. But here, this ra would be written before cha, because the sound is char. After this first cha, the sound of ra comes. So here, instead of writing cha, we will write ra first. Char. I'll explain why I'm writing it like this. I'll come to that after this. This is char cha. Now, here you will see that ra we have written like this. We can see the complete ra on top here, dharm. We have seen ra, and then ma is written below like this. But here, if you see that it's a little different way of writing ra here with cha. That is because this rule, the way of writing ra with any alphabet like this, is only applied to the category B letters. For example, I have to write ra and ja together. This is how I'll write it. So in case of category B letters, ra would be always written like this. The top line like this. This is basically the matra of the letter ra. Then the ra is not written complete. Instead of writing the letter ra complete, what we do is we just draw this vertical line here, and then we attach the category B letters under. For example, excuse me, we will write category B letter kh under this like this. But when it comes to category A, C, it will always be written like this. I'll take some examples, then we will move to the some special letters in this case also, where we have to write ra differently with some other letters. So I'll show you the picture also, the chart where we have the classification with the ra with these letters. So I'm going to come to that. Before that, I'll take some examples. Let's see the word. Dard. Now first the it will be written as it is here. Now this one here will write R complete. And the would be written under it like this without the Shirorekha. Now why? Because this the belongs to category A, so it would be written as it is. Like we will write the R first and the would be written below. Now in case we had a category B letter, for example, if we had the word mark, this is how we will write it. Ma. Now here Ra would not be written like this, how we wrote in Dard. It will take a slightly different shape. This vertical line that I'm drawing here, this is the representation of the letter Ra, but without the triangle at the bottom. And then I draw the Shirorekha for Ga. And here it becomes Marg. Now if we had letter from category C, C along with R,
Ma'am,
follow the same rule. Yes.
ma'am, can you explain Marg again?
Okay. Since G belongs to category B, it will always be written like this along with the matra R. Here you saw in Dard that we wrote the R complete and then the was written directly below it, how we follow the conjunct rule. But in case of category B letters, this R, instead of writing it full like this, what we do is we just make the Shirorekha for R, and this central vertical line, we move it towards the right hand side. We keep it a little shorter as compared to what you have seen here. This R on the top, it was written complete, long vertical line. We make it a little shorter and we do not draw this triangle at the end. We directly join the category B letter here. But this is only for the letters that belong to category B. If we have any other letter that comes from category A or C, would be written like this. But only for category B letters, they would be written like this. We will not be writing the triangle for R, and this line will move to the right hand side. The central line of R would move to the left hand side. I'll come give you a few more examples. Before that, I'll show you a category C letter. For example, I'm writing Varsh. Now here again, this also will follow the same rule. It won't change. You will write R first, how we did for Dard on the top. We will write R and then Sh would be written towards the right hand side like this. So here you can clearly see R also and Sh also. So this rule, that this middle one that you are seeing here, is only applied to category B letters. For example, if we have now the R matra on top of J. So we will not write it like this. This is not that we are going to follow here. This would be incorrect. You will not find R, J and Matra R written together like this anywhere in any of the manuscripts. But it is written like this. And this is followed by all category B letters. All would be written like this. I'll give you one more example from category B itself. The word is Murk. How I'm going to write here? Ma. Who. Now again, this Kh belongs to category B. So what we'll do is we will not write R complete. We will write it like this. This is R, Matra R. And Kh would be written below like this. And if you have any matras after this, suppose we have A or any other matra after this, if we have, for example, A on behind this, so this matra will attach here and not with Kh. Okay, this will attach with this, the Shirorekha for R here on the top. And if you have E, that will also attach here. Okay. If we have matras like U, that will definitely come here. Or if we have matras like Re also or Re also, that will come here. So reason being that all the matras that require a Shirorekha will always come with the Shirorekha. So this is the top Shirorekha, it will attach here. And matras that do not require any Shirorekha, for example, U and U, they will always be written with the letter below. Since U and U do not require a Shirorekha, Re and Re do not require a Shirorekha, they'll be written with the letter that is written below, with, in this case, with Kh. And matras that require a Shirorekha will always be written on the Shirorekha, on the top. And in this case, where we have R matra written with category B letters, it will join here on this area. Okay, the first level of Shirorekha, and not with the second level. This is first level of Shirorekha and this is the second one. So it will join to the first one here. So any doubts so far, any questions, then please ask. We will answer that and then we'll move forward.
Good morning, madam. I had one doubt. When that special category B means B category letters comes with the R, when you write that first line after Shirorekha, that and that K you have written, whether they should be all in the straight line or whether they can cross that straight line.
Yes, so yeah, that's a very good question. So they will all be in a straight line. It should not cross this line. So this is an imaginary line. We are not going to cross this line. If I'm writing K, it'll all be in the straight line here. And if we have G in case of this, again, we are not going to cross this line from here. All be in a straight line. Little extension of Shirorekha is okay from here, but not much. This is how we will write it.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Ma'am, I have one question. Like, ma'am, in Devanagari, we have a R on the Shirorekha. So that is considered half. adha. So we have to consider that half r in Sharda also.
Yes, this is half. So for half letter rule in Sharda, we always write the letter complete, correct? This is how what we have learned, that we write the half letter complete. So ra, even if it is because it is incomplete, it is half ra. That is why we are writing it full. And the letter following it, in case of, for example, we have this letter. The word is kark. Now, in case of kark, we have this ka complete in the beginning. This ka is complete. But this ra on the top, this is half. That's why the sound is kark. We are not pronouncing the ra complete. So ra would be written complete because it's half. And ka, considering that this is half, this is following the letter complete, the letter ra, it will be written down like this. So this itself means that ra is half. That's why it is written on the top and ka is written below.
Ma'am, are there any rules that due to some association or like some rules, the half letter becomes full? In Devanagari, when R is on the Shiro Rekha, there are some rules that it becomes then not half, it becomes full. So is there any rule that in Sharda also that the R will become, it will become full? So we'll write full only. And then we have to write K full or K down below.
Ka will come below because the sound of ra, the ra, we are considering here ra as half. And in Sharda Lipi, you have always seen that half letters are written complete. Forget about this ra matra. If we have na and ka together, na is half and ka is complete. So this is how we are going to write it. Na and ka below. So that itself means that na is half and ka is complete. So here as well, this ra sound is incomplete and then ka is below, complete.
Right, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Can I just add one thing here, Veronica ji?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Vidya ji, as you said that while ra in Devanagari, while you writing, if it's basically Shada is a script. So while reading, the rules will follow whatever rule is being followed in that particular language, I would say. So if you're reading it like a Devanagari or if you're reading a Sanskrit text, the phonics rule or phonetics rule would stay the same. It is just the way we write it. So if kark, you're considering ra as while reading its full ra, it will be read as full ra, and ka would be half or full depending on the word that you're reading. So that those rules will remain as it is. Sharda being a script, it is only the way that we are writing it. So rest of your rules will follow of whatever thing that you're reading, Devanagari, Sanskrit, or even if you write, we write Kashmiri in Sharda. So it would depend on the rules of that particular language also.
Thank you,
Madam,
ma'am.
how do you write cha, ka, kra? Ka, kra being one word. One letter.
One second, I'll just remove this. Yes, you were saying cha,
Ka, kra.
ka.
Kra,
is
ka, kra being one.
This is chakra. This is what you mean, right?
No.
Are you? Is this what you mean?
Cha, ka, kra.
Can you please write it in the chat box? I'm not getting it.
Okay.
Nidhi, if you see in the chat box, please let me know what the word is.
It's ch, k, kr. So if you're saying first k would be half,
Yes.
second k
Ma'am,
would be
I
full.
think he's saying chakra.
First k is half.
Second k would be with r at the bottom, right? That's
Yes.
what you're mentioning. With
Yes.
r,
Yes.
yeah, with r,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
this.
This sound.
Yes.
This is the name of a Kashmir ruler, you know.
Chakra, chakra. So how would you
That is charak. That is not chakra.
charak?
If, yeah, charak.
No, it is chakra.
Okay.
That
So
is how
let's learn
Okay,
how it is written.
let's come to the word itself. Let's
Yeah.
not get into the so this word, now here what we saw earlier was the r. For example, I gave the example of kark. Now the difference between this r on the top here and r below with k here is this. Now when we say kark, there is k is complete. Then we have the sound of r half. The r sound is incomplete. I mean, the letter r is incomplete, half. And then the k sound is again full. This is what is kark. It is not karak. It is kark because the r sound is half here, correct?
half.
When we come here, this r sound is complete. The k sound is half. This is ch. This k is half. Then we have another k here, which is complete. And the r sound is, sorry, k is incomplete. And then we have r complete. So this is the difference between this r and this r. This is the half r, what we saw in kark. And in this case, this word, the r sound is complete. The sound of k is half. I'm just going to give you an example of chakra. If we write chakra, I will come to this matra later. Since this is a different matra, this is taken as a different rule. But since you have asked this question, so I'm just explaining it here. Sure. And this ra matra below, that means this ra is complete here. The sound of ra is complete. Chakra. The half sound that is coming is from ka. So what we will do is, ka will come on top. And this ra in Shaada Lipi is denoted like this. This matra in Shaada Lipi is always written like this. When we have the sound of the letter incomplete, like in case of chakra, ka sound is incomplete, but the ra sound is full. So ra would be written below like this, and ka will come on the top. What we had in kark was ra sound was incomplete and ka was complete. And as I mentioned earlier, that in Shaada Lipi, how we pronounce the word, we write it in the same way. Because we pronounce ra first in kark, so ra would be written before ka, and then ka would follow it. Any doubts still here? Any questions if you are still not understanding?
Ma'am, you missed one ka. Chakra.
Yeah, no, actually I was given an example of chakra here. Because
No.
yeah,
No,
if you
I
want me
asked
to write that
chakra.
word, I will write that. Now the other ka is complete. So it will be written below this, and that ra rule that I just explained will come here.
Hmm.
This is the word that you were referring to, this
Ye-
one. So this will be written like
Ma'am,
this.
this is what is bothering me. You know, I study coins with Sharda script, but I am finding the difference between what you are teaching us and what I see on the coins.
Can you give an example how it is different, what you see?
Say the word chakra only, chakra.
Mhm.
It is not written the way you have written. Even the ka below is written like the one above.
Oh yes, sir.
Yeah, madam. Actually, I was about to point the same because other
Yeah.
ka is also half ka. So
Yeah,
that
so
is why it should
ra
go
would
like
be
that.
written like this. Yes.
Yeah,
So this
yeah,
is how we'll
yeah.
write.
This is
That
the
was
way.
my mistake. Sorry, I didn't
Okay.
realize that. Ra is
Yeah.
Ka would be
Okay.
always written like this when we have something below.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is
Thank
how-
you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any questions? Okay. So if there are no questions, I'm going to move to the special letters with matra ra. Now we saw category A, B, and C, how they are written when they are written with the matra ra that we have seen. Now there are few variations that you will find in letters like dha, then we have ya, tha, va, this ra. When they are written with the matra ra, so usually you must have seen that you have done it in the conjuncts that dha takes the shape of this when written below any conjunct. But when we write it with the matra ra, this is how it will be written. Because this belongs to category B, so it will follow this rule of being written like this. Okay, we will not write dha with ra like this, which ideally should have been, because we have learned that dha is written like this. But in case of ra, it is written like this. Now this ra, again, as per the rule, it should have been written like this. This belonging to category B, it should have been written like this, right? This is the rule that we just learned. But in case of ya, again, it changes the form and it is written like this. So this shape that you see is basically ya and ra on top. So this shape you will have to remember. This is how this ya is written when written with the matra ra. Okay. Now comes this dha.
Madam, just one question here. Sorry, the second one that you wrote to give a resemblance with Devanagari, right?
Correct. This looks like Devanagari dha. If you see, Devanagari dha is written like this.
Right.
So somewhat similar to this.
But
Yeah.
it is Raya. Okay.
Yeah, it is ra. It can be written. See, there are again the variations of writing it ya and ra together. This is also one way of writing it, actually. This is also how we write year and R together. And you can have a slight, the slant in the beginning, and then you have this loop and then this slant line again. And this is another way of writing it. So both are correct. Both the ways of writing year and R is correct. But this is the shape that you have to remember when the year is written with matra R. Now the next one we have is th. So there are two ways of writing th when written. See, one, this is R, and th will come down like this. The other way of writing th is like this. So now, since we know that dha would never be written like this under ra, so whenever you see a word written like this in any manuscript, it is always going to be ra and tha together, because since we know that dha would ra would never be written like this, it will always be written like this. So the word has to be ra and tha together. This is, you will find like this as well. The first one also is seen at many places, but this is also one way of writing it. There are variations with this th when written with ra or any other conjunct also. You will find th written like this with many conjuncts. Then we have ver. So when we have to write ver and ra together, even though it belongs to category A, ver, but still it follows its own rule. So the ra will attach to this. And if you see, it resembles Devanagari letter cha. This is ra on top, and then we join ver along with it. So this becomes ra and ver. And now in case of the last one, ra, it'll be again written a little differently. So here, this is na, this is ra, the matra ra, right? And here the ra merges with it. This is matra ra and na together. You must have done it in the conjuncts also. With na, ra, you must have seen how it merges with other letters when written as a conjunct. In case of ra also, this is how it merges with ra. Just a straight line, and with the straight line, you merge this ra. So this is ra written with the letter ra. So these are few letters that follow their own rule when written with matra ra. They do not follow the rules of their category. Like for example, year doesn't follow the rule of category B. The follows the rule of the category B, but otherwise it is considered as a special character. But in this case, it follows the same rule as the other letters in category B. Again, with th is written with in both the ways. We can write th complete under ra, and this is also one way of writing ra with th. And again, ver, you saw that ver also follows its own rule. It looks like Devanagari cha, and ra also, it has another way of being written. It merges with the ra. Any questions so far?
Madam, will you share the primer, this one, rules for this special letter R?
Yes, we'll share the reference material with you. I can show you the
Yeah,
image.
that will be easy.
Here, if you see, oh sorry, this. Here. So this is what we just understood, the matra ra. If you see with ka, it is written like
Can you
this.
please enlarge, madam? We can't see clearly.
Can you see it now?
Yeah, it's better now. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Is it visible? Can you see this now?
We need little bit
Yeah,
enlargement,
yeah,
madam.
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, zoom it a little. Thank you.
Yes, sir, yes.
Yeah. So here, if you see ka and ra, this is how we'll write it. Kha belonging to category B would be written like this. Ga, gha, na, cha, cha. You see, ja belonging to category B again would be written like this. Jha is written like this. This is nya belonging to category B is written like this. Ta is also written like how I showed in case of tha, but that is very, very rare. Usually ta would be written like this with ra, but that is very rare that you will find even ta written like how we write tha. And then if you see such words, it'll you will have to understand the word. Basically, it depends on the context of the word, what word it is, and then you'll be able to figure out whether it is ra with tha or ra with ta. So people who know Sanskrit, they would be able to decipher it much quicker. But with ra and tha combination like this, the second one, it's very rarely seen. But definitely, I cannot rule this out that it's not there. So this is ra and da. This is ra and dha. Ra we just saw. The tha would be written, you must have done the conjuncts. So tha always takes the shape like this. So it will be written like that only. Unlike dha, which changes the shape again. But this, in case of tha, it will be written like how we know that tha is written as a conjunct. Then the and ra together. The we just saw. Pa, pha, ba, bha, ma. Here we have seen. Ra. Although this is not grammatically correct, we don't have such sound. La, va. Also we saw the special letter va, sh, and the rest of these. So we will send this reference material also so that you have it handy with you.
Ma'am, can you give any word for this tha, the one on the left hand side with the star?
Sure.
The last bit second.
Example. Let's take some example for this letter.
Ma'am, can you write Samarthya?
Samarthya, I was about to say that. We spoke about it. Yeah, earlier also.
This is the word samarthya, correct?
Correct.
I think the ra is somewhere
Ra is on ya.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Is this correct now?
Yes, yes.
Okay. This is a, then mo, then we have th half. But when we pronounce the word, we say samarthya. So after ma, the sound of ra is coming, correct? If you pronounce it on your own, just see where the sound of ra is coming. It's coming after ma, samarthya. So as discussed earlier, the sound, if ra sound is coming before, it would be written before, unlike what we have seen in Devanagari, that it is written on the top of here. Here, this ra would come here. Then the sound of this tha comes, so tha would be written below. Now at the end, the sound of ya is coming. Because the ra sound is coming before tha, it will be written here before, and then it followed by tha and ya. Is that clear? And since we know that ya as a conjunct is always written like this, when written after the half letter, I'm sure you have done it, or it's not covered.
I am not, I can't recollect. I'm sorry if I missed that.
No, yeah, it has been taught, madam. Actually, it has been taught. Many
right.
people missed the last class. I think that is the reason they are not able to.
So I'll explain it again. So this is basically how we'll write samarthya. I'll come to this ya again if some of you don't know this. So basically what happens when ya is written as a conjunct, like how you saw in case of tha is always written like this when written below any conjunct, and same goes for ya also. When it is written below any conjunct, it is always written like this. So this is the shape that ya takes. So here in case of samarthya, since we had this ra sound coming first, we wrote it in the beginning here, ra. Then the tha sound, then tha would come below because it is coming after ra. And since we had tha incomplete and ya complete, so tha would be written complete below ra, and then ya will follow it. This will be also be written below this, and the shape would be this. So how I have written tha and ya together, I'll show it properly on a page again. So what I did is ra, ra came first. Then we know the rule of tha, that it's written like this when it is written below any conjunct. Then ya we just saw that ya always takes this shape when it is written below. So this is how ya would be written. Because tha was half and ya was complete, so tha would be written here under ra, and then ya, the ya following the half letter would be written complete. So this is the rule of the conjuncts in Shaada Lipi. Tha would be written complete, and we will write tha below it, ya below it. Any doubts here?
Ma'am, I just want to confirm that in Sanskrit, when we write ra on the Shiro Rekha, it is known as refar. And the rule of refar is that it will always get pronounced with the alphabet which has swar with it, not half. जैसे सामर्थ्य में th was half, so and it was मतलब ra was on year, so ra was to be pronounced with ma after ma. So is this the same rule applied
See, as
for
told
Shada also?
before also, the pronunciation or the grammar is not going to change. Like I think Nidhi ji already explained it before.
Okay,
But
grammar
that
is
is not
same.
going to change. No, it is just
Okay.
that how we write it. The ma is
Okay.
pronounced after ra. I mean, ra is pronounced after ma. Samarthya. That
Yeah,
pronunciation
yeah,
is not going to change. You're going to
Right,
speak it
right.
the same way. It is just that
Right.
we write it like that.
Sure, ma'am.
The
I just
writing.
wanted to confirm the grammar is also same.
No. Grammar remains the same. The pronunciation remains the same. only the way we write it changes. The script
Oh,
only
okay.
changes, otherwise grammar is not going to change.
Okay, ma'am.
We
Thank you,
follow
ma'am.
the same grammar as we follow in Sanskrit.
Okay,
Yeah,
ma'am.
sorry to interrupt you. In fact, if you see now the
Madam,
word, if you follow the grammar, it will actually be easier to read Sharda, because Ra is coming first, then Tha is written, then Ya is written. So if you read it compared to how we write it in Devanagari, it is easier to read it here in Sharda script. So your grammar rule, if you see, I mean, what you're mentioning right now, if you try and read it the way it is being written with Sharda, it would be much easier to follow phonetics here.
Now try to read this word here. See, sa, if someone not knowing Sanskrit grammar would, probably read it right, sa, ma, tha, and then yara. Little difficult since the ra is coming here. And if you see here, it is very easy to read. If we have sa in the beginning, sa, and then ma, it's very easy to read that way. Sa, mar, thya. It is following how we are speaking, it is following the same. Sa, ma, ra, tha, ya. So speaking doesn't change, the pronunciation doesn't change, it's just how you write it. And yes, what Nidhi has explained, it's easier to pronounce when you read it from Sharda script, it's easier to, pick the word and pronounce it.
Madam, can you illustrate any example which has more than 3 letters in a conjunct, say 4, 5?
There are many, but I don't have them right now. If you want, I can, show it in the next class. There are many words as such. We have come across the conjunct level of even 7 and 8. There was a manuscript that we have seen, 7, 8 levels of conjunct. So I'll just try to dig that manuscript again somewhere. It's there. I'll show it in the next class.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes. Anything else before we close?
Before we close, I had just one request for Mr. Bhatt. As you mentioned that you are, reading coins with Sharda script, I would request if you could share some details. I'm not saying like if it's a part of your research project or something. If you could just give a small brief to us, because we would want to put it on our social media, because there is, our platforms keep, we want to highlight such, projects, so that, more people are aware on it. And as as you would all know that we are also wanting to make it like an official script to write, or some kind of recognition for this script. So such mentions would really help our cause.
Yeah, sure, ma'am, sure. But the only problem is, ma'am, I am finding even change in form of some letters. So probably, here we are not being taught the paleography of the Sharda script. I mean, we are being taught as if Sharda script is static. It was just one form.
It is definitely variable. In fact, when you come to reading, in manuscripts, what we have seen, a lot of scribes have a very different way to write. So doesn't matter. It will come to, because there's an advanced level where we read such manuscripts. We read different kind of manuscripts. It definitely is, change. We write it the way it is easier to learn. So it is just basic on how letters can be written. There are variations, so it will come further. However, for now, irrespective of, there is a change in letter or something, but we want, just to
Ma'am,
highlight.
I was hoping that we would be told about the different forms known of each.
We'll come to
letter.
that. We'll come to that in our advanced stage. So right now, because the level of participants is different. So somebody who's just beginning to learn Sharda. So once you come, complete the basic level, in the advanced level, we'll come to that also. Once everyone starts reading manuscripts, it'll be easier with the basic knowledge given. It'll be easier for everyone to understand then.
Even, ma'am, with this rule of ABCD category, I find some variations there also at some places.
see, this category is not, it is not a syllabus that was handed down to us. It is our team that is developed for easier understanding of making conjuncts.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
it is not a rule. It is
Yeah.
not written anywhere. Even we, like when Core
Mm.
Sharda team had started work, there was nothing. There was no, formation. There was just few books that had very,
Mm.
very basic knowledge of letters.
Yeah.
So we have devised this, kind of basic syllabus for understanding on how conjuncts are made. And yes, it is not hard and fast, and it is not, the rule that will be followed everywhere. Even if we say that conjunct while making a category A letter or B letter, some manuscripts do not follow that.
Mm.
It could
Mm.
have right orientation or left orientation. It, we have seen variations,
Mm.
but
Like
we
like
devised
we
this format on a broader perspective.
like we get one queen's name Shillika, Cha, like we get in Kaksha,
Mhm.
that Cha you have told is written on the left side below the Ka.
Yeah, it could be it could be different.
But
As I said,
uh,
the layout could be
yeah,
different.
yes.
We are
But
not
on the
definitely
coin, we are
doubting that.
getting it on the right side. We are
Yeah,
getting
yeah,
it
it
on the
is.
right
It
side.
is. We have seen. However, as I
Yes,
said, this is very, very basic and a
yes.
broader understanding. It is not
Mm.
like hard and fast. It would follow. No, it doesn't do that.
Yes,
But
yes,
it is,
yes,
generally we would say it follows these rules. But there are
yes.
exceptions also, as you mentioned. So we'll come to that
Yeah.
once everyone
If
is
you
through with the
if you
first
give
level.